I can count on one hand the number of times that my mother has ever slapped me in the face. It was a Sunday night, and she just got off the phone, and she informed me that starting the next morning, I was going to be walking a neighborhood girl with developmental disabilities back and forth to school. I said, "No way, not that circus freak." Then smack. Well, that showed me that it wasn't a request, that this was an edict. This was a mom edict. Mary Lou and I were both 11 years old. I was in the 5th grade, and she was in a special needs class. Mary Lou always wore a forest green Girl Scout uniform, topped with an old lady sweater in pastel colors of yellow, blue, or pink. She was small, with big brown eyes and a giant smile. And Mary Lou was born with HED, as well as several other developmental and physical challenges. She had a mop of thinning brown hair and a giant smile. She wore ginormous white tennis shoes, and she was different than all of us. See, her mom called my mom to tell her that Mary Lou was being bullied every day at school, and my mom graciously volunteered me to be her bodyguard. I was awash in puberty. My parents were going through a really bad divorce, and I was being picked on at school, which was causing me to pick on the younger kids. And it was the perfect storm of teen angst and anger. Well, Monday came, and I woke up. I was mortified. At 11 years old, everything is mortifying. But I knew the teasing on this was going to be epic. So I went to Mary Lou's house, and she was out there waiting for me, and I hated going to Mary Lou's house. It smelled different than ours. It smelled weird, like lilacs and Greek food and corn nuts. And there she was in her uniform, smiling. She says, "Hi, good morning, Kent." And all I could say is, "Let's go." We were walking past the chain link fence of the playground at school, and it felt like all the kids were staring and laughing at us. Going through the small fluorescent lit hallways, and I dropped her off at her class, and she said, "Thank you." And all I could do is say, "Ugh." But that was our new routine. We did it every day. And she was chatty, and I was always a jerk. And I always dreaded it more than I dreaded taking out the trash every morning. And the bullying and the teasing, it just never stopped. Kids that age, they're preteens, they're like a wolf pack. They pick on the weakest ones, and they just go after them. So every day in the halls and in the playground, I'd hear, "Oh, where's your girlfriend? Are you going to get married? Have you kissed her yet? Are you going to make ugly babies?" Always followed by hoots and laughter. Well, that Friday at afternoon recess, I could see the wolf pack playing over at the monkey bars. So I silently kind of ingratiated my way in till one of them said, "Oh, Kent, hey, where's your girlfriend? Did she dump your faggy butt already?" Well, you know what they say. If you can't beat them, join them. So I started making fun of her. I had recently watched a special on PBS about rhesus monkeys. So I said how she looked like a rhesus monkey, and I was making fun of her and bugging my eyes out and walking around. And I was getting laughs. And I kept going till I looked over at the rusting out swing set. And there was Mary Lou. She heard everything. I felt horrible. Luckily, the bell rang, and I was saved by the bell. After school, I went to pick up Mary Lou from her class, and we walked home. And we walked home in silence. But she could sense that I was feeling bad. So she reached out her tiny little hand and grabbed mine. And I looked in those big brown eyes, and I felt shame to my core. She was trying to make me feel better for making fun of her. Either she didn't hear what was going on at the playground, or she heard it so many times all of her life that it just didn't bother her, or she heard everything, and it was in her angelic, beautiful Buddha nature to forgive me. I dropped her off at her house and said goodbye, and then I ran home. And as I was running, I could feel the tears burning shame down my face. I burst through the door, and I just fell in my mom's arms, sobbing. And I told her what happened, and I apologized. I apologized for everything that week. I apologized for the things I said, for the things I thought, for the person I had become. And I sobbed. I sobbed so hard I could actually taste my tears. And I fell and melted into my mom's arms with all of my weight. No longer a boy and not yet a man. On Monday morning, I went to go pick up Mary Lou from her house, and there she was in her uniform in a bright pink sweater, waving and smiling at me. And I just looked up and sheepishly said, "Good morning." And that became our routine for the rest of the year. I'd pick her up every day and we'd walk back and forth. And the teasing never stopped. But it didn't matter because she and I became friends, and friends look out for each other. And I learned that Mary Lou was funny, very funny. And I learned that bullies don't matter, that friends do. And I learned that moms are usually right.